Dr. Joe Esposito. The way this works is I'm going to talk for 24 minutes. You, whatever platform you're on, can send me questions through the website, through your platform, I'm sorry, and my producer, John, will read me the question. If you're watching this as a recording, you could send me all your health questions through my website, drjoe.com, drjoe.com. I will answer your questions personally. I know this is a big service. It's a lot of work on my part, but a lot of people have health questions. They don't know where to turn. I want to be your doctor. So, John, I'm ready to go whenever you are. Oh, there we go. Ready? Hey, folks, Dr. Joe Esposito here. I'm glad you're with me today. Now, last week, we talked about toxic chemicals you come in contact with every day. And a lot of people sent me emails, a lot of you did, send me emails with other questions. What about lawn care? What about pesticides? What about heavy metals? So I'm going to continue the theme today on toxic chemicals that you come in contact with every day. And I'm also going to give you advice on what to do about it. I can tell you all day. And I really believe that's one of the shortcomings of a lot of healthcare systems, is that we can diagnose the heck out of things, but what are our proactive steps? What can we do to counteract the issue? Excuse me, whether it's neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, digestive issues, brain fog, fatigue. We can diagnose all these things. We can give you pain of radiculopathy, which is radiating pain. We can give you a diagnosis of chronic fatigue syndrome. We can give you a diagnosis of Crohn's, colitis, irritable bowel syndrome. But what do we do about these things? That's why I want to be. That's why I want to be your doctor. I want to give you protocols on just about everything you have, so we can start getting you well. And the nice part is, when it comes to what is now become known as functional medicine, is that it's not just the diagnosis, it's the treatment. And many times we don't even need to know the diagnosis. We know what to do to get the body healthy, and that's really the most important thing. Diagnosis is important, but what do we do about it? That's what we want to talk about. So let's continue on the theme of toxic chemicals you come in contact with every day. I want to talk about pesticides, because they're used very willy-nilly. You watch commercials, spray around your house and you'll prevent roaches and ants. That's great. Does it work? Probably. But if it's enough toxic chemical to kill a roach, there's probably going to have an adverse effect on you as well. Now, the good news is there's other things you can do. There's sprays, there's bombs that go off in your house. You can do a bomb. Sometimes you have to. If something like is so toxic, you may have to get rid of the whole house. I remember when I was in college, I lived in this apartment, and it was called Barclay Arms Apartments. They're not there anymore, so I can say it. And it was just a roach-infested pigsty. It was disgusting. A 3-bedroom apartment was $180 a month. Total. $60 each we paid for rent. Brown shag carpets. God knows how old those carpets were. The doors didn't lock. The windows didn't lock. And cockroaches everywhere. No kidding. This is not an exaggeration. We'd open the counters, step back, let the roaches fall. We'd squish as many as we could, and then we'd reach into the counter and get food. That's how bad it was. Now, again, I was 19, 20 years old. Didn't care. Slept on a floor, which was disgusting too. But looking back on that, there was so many things why I shouldn't have lived there. Number one is roach droppings can evaporate, get into the air. That can be toxic. I remember reporting it to the management, and they said, we'll come out and spray. It was the whole apartment house was infested. So in a case like that, I don't know what you'd need to do to get rid of it. Actually, eventually they tore it down, and I can imagine the roaches probably still live in the ground somewhere. They were, them and Keith Richards are going to live forever, I think. If you're a rock fan, you get the joke there. So what do we do about these things? Well, bugs are a lot more than just nuisances because, again, their droppings can be toxic. They can carry diseases. And so we want to manage that the best we possibly can. The best thing to do is keep a clean house. Don't have places where the bugs come. Now, I live in Georgia. We have these big, they call them palmetto bugs, they look like giant roaches, and they will get into your house no matter what. So what I do, I took away all the bushes around my house because they can climb into bushes and the trees and then get into the house. Make sure your house is sealed the best it possibly can be, and you can have bug people or a good contractor come out and look for openings and seal them. But they can sneak through little tiny holes, obviously. So if you see one in the house, I get rid of it. But there are natural things you can use. Diatomaceous earth. Diatomaceous earth, if they get it on their bodies, let's say roaches or other bugs, it dries them out. and that's a natural way to kill them. Peppermint oil will keep them away. Bay leaves, you can put bay leaves around, and that may help a little bit too. But really, the key for bugs is don't create an environment where they want to live. Don't leave food out. Clean your house. I've had ants in my house already. And what you do is follow the trail, and eventually they're going to go to a food source. Maybe you left a piece of sugar out, a piece of cookie or something like that. Maybe your countertops need to be cleaned and disinfected. And once you get rid of the food source, they go away. It's a real simple process. It's not real hard to figure out what to do with ants. So be careful with pesticides because they're neurotoxins. They're toxins to the bugs, but they're also neurotoxins to you. Get a small amount, probably not that big a deal, but we're going to expose ourselves to this every single day. And the bugs themselves and their droppings can be an issue. So not a big fan of pesticides. You probably do. You get solicited all the time. Hey, we'd like to come out and spray for bugs. No, I'm good. Thank you. I'd rather find out why I have bugs. Again, it's just like pain. Neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, digestive issues, healthcare. We're very good at diagnosing the symptom. I see a bug. I have bugs. I have neck pain. You have neck pain. But what's the cause? What's the protocol that we can put together to get to the cause of the problem and not just treat the symptoms? Other things, lawn chemicals. Now, sometimes you might live in a neighborhood where you have to keep the lawn nice. And I've tried contacting natural lawn services, and everyone I've ever contacted never got back to me. I must have reached out to 10 or 15 of them that were advertising. Natural lawn services never got back to me. But what you want to do is keep the soil healthy and the lawn thick, and you're going to have a lot less weeds. Because the weeds grow, if you have a good carpet of lawn, that's great. So make sure you water it. There are organic lawn treatments you could use. Manual weeding, of course, is one option, and I don't mind doing that. I like gardening, by the way. It's one of my hobbies. And so I don't mind that. But what I do for my garden is I have a very thick layer, probably 8 inches worth of wood chips. Hardwoods only. Don't use pine. And I put it across my garden, and it acts as a natural weed barrier. And then when I plant my plants, I move the wood chips out. I put the plant in. Once it gets established, it locks into water. The wood chips lock into water as well, so you need less water. And it's also compost, so you have natural fertilizer as well. So that's one of the techniques I use to keep my weeds out is I put down a big layer of wood chips. Now, where do you get wood chips from? I had a tree fall down about 8 months ago in my backyard, and I told the guys, come chop it up, but I want you to chop up the wood chips and leave them for me. And so I spread the wood chips. A couple of benefits. Number one, it's a good workout. You get out there, and you don't have to do it all at once. You could do a couple of wheelbarrows at a time and spread them out. So I have 2 gardens that I use and then some other areas that I laid the wood chips really thick. Keeps the weeds out. Now with the lawn, it's a little tricky. You can't just cover your lawn with weeds. But I had an area in front of my house that had bushes on it, which of course attracts bugs. So I put rocks down, big river rocks, and it looks really nice. And every now and then a weed will pop up. I'll just bend over and pull it out. But start thinking about natural ways to keep your weeds under control. And if you garden, it's perfect because you can grow food, which is a wonderful thing as well. So I like gardening. It's kind of cool. If you want to make a natural weed killer, which is what I use, white vinegar, dish soap. Usually Dawn is one of the better ones you could use, and salt. And I put it in a sprayer. I've got a battery-powered sprayer, and I'll just spray that on the weeds, and it naturally kills the weeds without using glyphosate, which we talked about last week, which is very toxic. So there are natural ways you can do it. Works pretty well. Way less expensive than glyphosate, too, which is kind of cool. So the only problem is if you use a sprayer, you have to clean the sprayer after you use it because the salt can build up in there and clog it up. So it's just one of those annoyances in life. But it's a much better way to do it. If you're just tuning in, I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. We're talking today about toxic chemicals that you come in contact with every day and what to do about it. Normally we talk about nutrition, we talk about chiropractic, we talk about digestive issues, but today we're talking about other chemicals. I want to talk about heavy metals and not the bands, but heavy metals can be really toxic to the body. Your body needs 0 mercury. It needs 0 cadmium. And so these are the heavy metals, nickel, lead, cadmium. And when it gets into the body doesn't have a real good way to get it out. And so it can really short circuit your electrical system and cause really serious issues. So heavy metals can cause brain damage, kidney damage, nerve damage. So where do we get them from? If you get cheap jewelry will do it. You want to get quality jewelry, gold, silver, platinum. But Dr. Joe, that's expensive. I understand that. If it's not something you could add to your lifestyle, a good piece of jewelry, don't wear jewelry. It's just that simple. Electronics can have heavy metals in them as well. So you want to get certified lead-free jewelry. That goes for toys as well. Toys have a lot of chemicals in them, especially if they're from like Asia. They'll have heavy metals on them, paint, lead. Not a good idea. So a couple of things with heavy metals. Number one is if you send me an email through the website, drjoe.com, I'll send you information on a hair analysis that we do in our office. You take a very small sample of hair from anywhere in the body, and we send it off to the lab, and it tests for heavy metal toxicity. And I found out my hair was going gray a couple of years ago. So I did a test, and I was selenium deficient. So it's not just heavy metals. We look for mineral deficiencies as well. And I was selenium deficient. So I started taking selenium supplement, eating foods high in selenium. All my gray hair went away. I have a friend of mine, no kidding. I've known him for 45 years. His name is Joe. I know, great name, right? So about 10 years ago, he says, hey, Espo, because Esposito, I call me Espo. He goes, hey, Espo, what do you do to dye your hair? I said, I don't dye my hair. He said, what do you mean? He says, everybody our age has gray hair. Why don't you have gray hair? I said, I did a hair analysis, found out I had selenium deficiency, fixed the selenium deficiency, my gray hair went away. Now, I don't know if that's why you have gray hair. It could be a lot of different reasons. That was my reason. But you can find nickel, lead, cadmium. We test for all these heavy metals. And if we find a positive test, here's the question, what do you do about it? Well, there's a couple of ways you can detoxify heavy metals. There's products on the market, some work, some don't. But sweat is one of the best ways to detoxify heavy metals. Now, you can do a sauna. I have a personal sauna. It was about $2,000. It wasn't cheap. But it's a personal sauna. You sit in it, you zip it up, your head sticks out, and I use it almost every day. Love it. Helps build my immune system. It helps activate collagen in my body so my skin stays tight, my joints stay firm. It helps detoxify heavy metals. It puts you in what's called the parasympathetic mode, which is very relaxing. So you think to yourself, well, Dr. Joe, $2,000, that's a big investment. It is, but here's the thing. When you start living a healthy lifestyle, you start eating healthy foods, you keep your body healthy. I don't go to the doctor. I have insurance. I don't go to the doctor. And so my premiums are extremely low. I have a very high deductible. I think it's Christian Health Network. And there's other ones like that too. And I don't use it. So I'm saving so much money just not going to the doctors. Now, I understand I am a doctor. I have doctors that work for me. I have access to doctors. But really the only thing I use for healthcare is chiropractic care, keep my nervous system going. I spend money on supplements because I believe supplements are absolutely necessary. They're not a luxury. They're a necessity when it comes to good health. So that's pretty much my healthcare costs. But the money I save on food, on drugs, on doctor's visits, on downtime, far exceeds what most people spend. So I have extra money. So I can take that money, save it up, and say I'm going to invest in a personal sauna. I'm going to invest in a whole house water filter. Again, several $1,000s. Well worth it. So you do the trade-off. I don't drink. So I see my friends go to the bar. They're going to drop $50, $60 on booze alone. Well, that's $50, $60 I can put toward my water filter. I can put toward my sauna. I can put toward my supplements. If you take the minimum supplements I recommend, which would be Super Greens Essential Source, vitamin D3, and B vitamins, that's the minimum. It's $5 a day. I think $5.01. So if you just do that, $5 a day, how can you save $5 a day? Don't go out and buy expensive coffee. Don't go out drinking. You shouldn't drink, but if you do drink, buy it and drink it at home. I understand there's a social aspect to it. I understand that. But I go out and socialize. I go to bars with my friends, have a seltzer. Many times it's free. I'll give the bartender $1. So there's so many things you can do if you get healthy that you're going to have excess money to spend on things to help get you healthier so you have excess money. See how that works? So let's assume you have back pain, neck pain, shoulder pain. What's the most effective, least expensive treatment for back pain? Chiropractic care. Chiropractic care. Most effective, least expensive treatment. Why wouldn't you do that? And in our offices, we don't just do chiropractic. We work on things like the digestive system. If your stomach is pushed up against your diaphragm, you might have acid reflux, heartburn, burping, gas, bloating. We can actually manipulate or pull the stomach down away from the diaphragm. Supplements. Again, minimum will be Super Green Essential Source B Complex and vitamin D, but I take probably 15 supplements a day. Take omega-3 fatty acids, men's hormone support. At my age, my hormones are dropping. I take digestive enzymes when I eat cooked food. I take nitric oxide, increase circulation to my brain, my heart, my whole body. So even with all that, if you live this healthy lifestyle, we're talking about pesticides and chemicals today, you're still going to come out ahead. So if you have a health issue, you want to make an appointment to come see us in the Atlanta area, we have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. I want to be your doctor. Normally the first visit is $940. I've reduced that for you, my listeners, to $299. That's an exam, x-rays, consultation, first treatment, and then on a follow-up visit, going over the x-rays and a complete nutrition evaluation. The x-rays alone are going to be more than that. The nutrition evaluation alone is more than that. I do this because I want to find out what's going to be the best course of treatment for you. Is it chiropractic? Is it nutrition? Is it orthopedist, neurologist, neurosurgeon, endocrinologist? Maybe you need a cardiologist. Maybe you need medication. I don't know. But if you go and just say, all right, I have high blood pressure, chances are they're going to give you medication. That's it. Did they ever talk about nitric oxide as a treatment? Did they talk about fixing the digestive system, taking the stress off the vagus nerve to naturally lower blood pressure as a treatment? Talking about chiropractic adjustments of the atlas to lower blood pressure. Probably not going to get that. In our office, you get the whole experience and the whole plethora of options. So if you want to make an appointment, drjoe.com, drjoe.com. I'd love to be your doctor. And we accept most insurances. Car accidents, sports injuries. We're on the VA referral list. Been in practice for over 40 years. We got a good reputation. So drjoe.com, book your appointment, stop suffering needlessly. And we accept most insurances. I can't make it any easier for you, folks, even Medicare. drjoe.com. And if you have any health questions, send them to me through the website, drjoe.com. Happy to answer your health questions as well. I really try and do everything I can to prove to you I want to be your doctor. So drjoe.com. So we're talking today about toxic chemicals. And all the supplements, by the way, are on the website in the store section, drjoe.com. So we're talking today about toxic chemicals that you're exposed to every single day. So saunas work real well. Sweating is really great. If you don't have a sauna, just go out and work. Go sweat. And fiber is really important to detoxify the body. Now, what do you mean fiber? Fiber from fruits and vegetables, nuts, seeds. They push the food through the colon, and as the heavy metals come out, they can be pushed out of the body. I don't want them being reabsorbed. One of the things that happens with cholesterol is if you have high cholesterol, it can be excreted into your digestive system. If you don't eat a high fiber diet, that cholesterol gets reabsorbed. Same thing with toxic chemicals. Same thing with hormones. Plastics. We did a whole show on plastics a couple of weeks ago. So a high fiber diet is vital for so many different reasons. And not something like wheat bran, because there's phytic acid in it, prevents you from absorbing calcium and iron, but whole food fiber, fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds. I eat a plant-based diet. I haven't had any animal products in 40 years. I'm not asking you to do that. But if you knew what I knew, you would do what I do. If you understood how the body works, you would say, oh my gosh, I have to have my nervous system working. I have to have my digestive system working. I have to have the right nutrients for my body to work. I have to make sure I'm eating enough fiber to detoxify the toxic chemicals in my body. It's not hard. It's so easy when it comes to what we call functional medicine now. It's so easy when you understand the principle of philosophy of it. And then you apply that to pretty much just about everything. Aluminum is another heavy metal, and it's linked to cognitive decline. If aluminum gets in the brain, it can essentially, simply put, short circuit the brain. So where do we get the aluminum from? How about antiperspirants? Aluminum chlorhydrate. Now, you'll see studies. Oh, it has nothing to do with that. You can put it on. If I put something on my skin, it's going to be absorbed. I can put a nicotine patch on my skin. It's going to be absorbed. I can put drugs on my skin. It's going to be absorbed. If I put deodorant with aluminum chlorhydrate on it, guess what? It's going to be absorbed. Somebody argues says, well, the molecule is too big to be absorbed in aluminum chlorhydrate. Not true. So I use deodorants, not antiperspirants. There's a difference. Now, I use natural deodorants. Sometimes they don't work. Not going to lie to you, man. The chemical stuff has a leg up on this here. But what I do is I mix rubbing alcohol and tea tree oil. And I add enough tea tree oil so I start to smell the tea tree oil. It starts to overcome the smell of the alcohol. And I have it in a spray bottle. And I have it in my shower. And I put that on every day. Now, I do have some other deodorants that I may use. If it's going to be a big day or a sweaty day, I may use some other deodorants. But that's one I use pretty much every single day. And if you're healthy, you're going to smell less too, which is kind of nice. But avoid that deodorant. And also, you get aluminum from aluminum foil. I do not recommend you ever use aluminum foil. How often? Never. Because the aluminum can leach into your food. And if your aluminum gets in the brain, you increase your risk of cognitive decline, also known as Alzheimer's or dementia, different types of dementia. So if you have to use something to cook on, use parchment paper. Now, you want to use the undyed or the brown parchment paper because the white ones can have chemicals on them. Undyed, natural, bleach-free parchment paper and natural deodorants. That's a great way to reduce your risk of exposure to aluminum. Mercury is another one. Mercury is a biggie. It's a neurotoxin. It affects mood. It affects memory. People get divorced over this. People lose their jobs over this. People commit suicide over this. Now, you might have remembered a fairy tale, Alice in Wonderland. And one of the characters in Alice in Wonderland was the Mad Hatter. And the Mad Hatter was crazy, if you remember the fairy tale. Why was the Mad Hatter crazy? They never said. Well, back in the day, hatters would use mercury to make the brim of the hat stiff. And they inhaled these mercury chemicals, and many times they went crazy. They became mad, thus the Mad Hatter. But you get exposed to mercury a lot of different ways. One of them is tooth fillings. Again, there's arguments back and forth. If you have a silver filling, it could be a gold alloy. It could be mercury. If you have mercury fillings, you want to go to a biological dentist to have them removed. Don't go to a regular dentist. They can start drilling it out and all that mercury can get released into your body. So a biological dentist, if you don't know one, send me an email through the website, drjoe.com. I'll send you a list of biological dentists that I use. Happy to send that to you. It's my gift to you, no charge. You can get them. You can get mercury from fish. What happens is in China, they burn a lot of coal. The coal, when the vapors go into the air, the smoke goes into the air, has mercury in it. It goes over the ocean and settles in the ocean, and it gets into the food chain. So the microorganisms absorb it, and then it works its way up the food chain. So the bigger the fish, the fattier the fish, the more mercury it's going to have. So tuna, shark, these swordfish, these big fish have been around for a long time, so they've eaten a lot of food, and they've stored mercury in their fat. Sardines, not so much. So if you're going to eat fish, the tiniest fish possible would be the one I'd recommend. Sardines would probably be your best bet. I don't eat fish, but if you're going to eat fish, sardines would be the best one. Never eat tuna. Mercury. Swordfish, mercury. Shark, mercury. Mackerel, mercury. So I would say avoid those at all costs. If you're going to eat fish, and I wish you wouldn't, but if you're going to eat fish, make sure it's wild caught. They say organic fish. There's no such thing as organic fish because organic means how it was raised and fed. We don't know what the shark or the tuna ate out in the ocean. So the word organic is more like a marketing tool than anything else when it comes to fish. I do omega-3 fatty acids as a supplement. Now, fish is a source of omega-3 fatty acids, but it's not a good source. Now, it has volume, but it's not in what's called a phospholipid form. You have to have your omega-3 fatty acids in a phospholipid form, easier to absorb. Fish are not like that. Krill, who the fish eat to get the omega-3 fatty acids from, are a better choice. Algae oil is the best choice. I take algae oil every day. I take a gram a day. Great for the brain, great for anti-inflammatory, great for slowing down the aging process. Just had somebody the other day, a girl, actually, and she asked me out, and I was very flattered. And we chatted a little bit, and she said something about, I don't know, how old was I, what year was it when I was in first grade? And I told her, and she did the math real quick. She goes, oh my gosh, you're 30 years older than me. I said, still flattered. So, yeah. It really helps to slow down the aging process when you eat the right foods and live the right lifestyle. Folks, I got to go to break. If you have any questions, send it to me through the website, drjoe.com, drjoe.com. Love to be your doctor. Any questions, drjoe.com. Follow me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn. We post twice a day. You're going to get health tips absolutely free. But if you want the supplement, you want to make an appointment, you have any questions, drjoe.com. Don't go anywhere. Going to be right back. All right. Tried weaving some stories in there for you. John likes when I tell stories. So I try to weave stories in for you. You have questions?
What do you use to rid parasites from your body?
Repair what from my body? Oh, parasites. Oh, be careful with these parasite cleanses. Because if you don't do it full blown all the way out, the parasites, they start to die off, but they burrow deeper into your body and can make the problem worse. Here's the thing. Parasites grow on weak tissue. It's just like if you have a tomato plant or something, the parasites are going to grow if it has too much water, if it doesn't have the right fertilizer. When you have healthy plants, you don't get that reaction. So here's how you get rid of parasites. Keep your body healthy. It's not an environment parasites want to live in. Now, if you do have parasites, I could give you a whole protocol on it, but it's something you don't want to jerk around with because you got to do it right, and you got to do it right the first time. So I suggest just follow all my health tips, and you're probably not going to have parasites anyway. That's a better choice. What else?
What is the healthiest and tastiest way to make white rice? My rice doesn't taste as good as the rice at restaurants.
Well, the restaurants will use sticky rice sometimes. If you're going to use white rice, you want to use organic rice from California. I recommend white and not brown. I know that sounds weird coming from me, but the white rice has less arsenic in it. All rice has arsenic in it. So brown rice is going to have more arsenic in it than white rice. California has the least amount of arsenic. So organic white rice from California, and try different rices. Did you do sushi rice? Did you do basmati rice? Did you do jasmine rice? Find out which one you like best. I have a pressure cooker. One pot, I think it's called. It takes about 12 minutes to make rice. It's really quick. In fact, I just made some today. And you put in 1 cup of rice, 2 cups of water, turn it on. 12 minutes later, be careful. Let the steam vent out, because if you open it right away, it'll explode and probably kill you. Make sure the steam is vented out before you open it. And you just got to decide what kind of rice you're using, because there's many different types of rice. There's short grain, there's long grain. Try different rices to see which one you like the best. Now, you could add a little olive oil or coconut oil to it when you cook it. That'll make it a little greasier. You can add air-dried sea salt to it, Baja Gold, Celtic salt, and that will change the flavor as well. Sometimes if they do sushi rice, they might add a little bit of white rice vinegar to it. So I don't know what flavor rice you like, so you got to try different flavors and find out what styles, I guess, and find out what works for you. So, what else?
Is it worse to drink 2 Cokes a day or 2 beers?
Boy, it is a Sophie's choice. Wow. I don't know if I have an answer for that one. I think they're equally bad. If I had to pick 2, gosh, I'd probably say the colas. Because the body can break down a little bit of alcohol, but that amount of fructose and high fructose corn syrup that's in colas is just devastating to the liver. And it converts into uric acid when it processes over into glucose. And the uric acid gets in your joints and it hurts. And the uric acid prevents the body from producing proper amounts of nitric oxide. So, gosh, if I had, I can't give you an answer on that one. But if I was forced, gun to my head, I'd have to say probably the sodas. So, what else?
Are bison burgers better than beef burgers?
Yes, they're not good. They're better. That was your question. I wouldn't recommend either one of them. But a bison burger would be a better choice. It has higher omega-3 fatty acids in it. Now, it depends how the bison is raised. If the bison is raised being fed corn and soy, which I don't know how they raise bison, to be honest with you, that wouldn't be good. But if it's a bison that's a grass-fed, you're going to have higher omega-3 fatty acid levels in it, so that would be a better choice. Don't grill it. When you grill meat, you create something called heterocyclic amines. Heterocyclic amines are known carcinogens, and the smell of the cooked meat that we like so much are heterocyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, which are also known to be linked to cancer. So you don't want to grill your meat. The grill marks are very toxic. So I digress.
Should I lay out coconut milk instead of regular milk for Santa this year?
Oh, absolutely. Santa loves coconut milk. I think Santa, last I heard, Santa is lactose intolerant. And also, you got to remember, Santas have been around for a long time. And the milk a long time ago didn't have steroids, chemicals, hormones, antibiotics. They weren't fed genetically modified food. They weren't exposed to glyphosate. So Santa's used to natural organic milk. So I think coconut milk will be a much better choice than commercial milk. Last time I spoke to Santa, his digestive system, bit of an issue because of that big gut. I adjusted his stomach, got him on some digestive enzymes. If you look recently, he's looking a lot better. So, yeah, coconut milk, absolutely.
Are roasted chestnuts healthy?
Yes, I love roasted chestnuts. I have some in my refrigerator. In fact, I may make them tonight, as a matter of fact. Love roasted chestnuts. Brings back a lot of good memories. I'm smiling just thinking about it. So, what else?
That is all.
Awesome, guys. All right, let's continue on. I had to make sure anybody who was listening about Santa had to make sure they understood that, Santa wants to be healthy too. I have slippery elm tea today, and it's a powder. And when you put it in water, it gets thick. So that's why I'm chugging it back like that. It's actually drinking, like it has a viscosity to it, which is kind of cool. But it's very good for soothing the throat, because again, it's cold and flu season. We want to make sure the throat is coated. The digestive system, wonderful. Slippery elm tea is wonderful. If you get a powder, you can get them in bags, and it's not going to cause that. But if you get the actual slippery elm powder, it creates a viscosity. So it's kind of cool. So, all right. Where was I? Did mercury, right? Yeah, okay. I'm ready. Here we go. Hey, folks, Dr. Joe Esposito. Glad you're with me today. We're talking today about toxic chemicals that you're exposed to every single day. And a lot of you are being exposed to these toxic chemicals every day. Now, let me say this. I'm not going to get to all my show notes. I should have said that in the first section. I forgot. If you want a copy of today's show notes, send me an email through the website, drjoe.com. Just put toxic chemicals on it. I'll send you a copy of all the notes. I have a list of 40. I'm only on 19, and I'm already done 1.5 shows on it. So I've got a lot more I can send you. It's absolutely free. It's my gift to you. Just say toxic chemicals. I'll send you the show notes through the website, drjoe.com. And this way you can read them over. You can look at them. You can process the information. I talk fast. It's a lot of information. A lot of this is new to you. You're not going to get it the first time. So let me offer the show notes to you, and then you could look at them. And if you have any questions at all, anytime, send me your questions through my website, drjoe.com. Happy to answer your question. I answer them personally, too, by the way. All right, so we last time we got together, we talked about heavy metals, mercury, and lead. I want to talk about artificial dyes. I'm going to put this one in the Dr. Joe is right column, and a huge victory for Dr. Joe and the people like Dr. Joe. I refer to myself in the third person. If you've been watching the news lately, RFK Jr. has got a lot of the food companies to remove their artificial dyes. I'm thrilled, out of my mind thrilled. Because if you go overseas, a lot of the chemicals and dyes and foods and additives are not allowed in other foods. Now, you may be able to get a chip, same chip, different color. Why? No artificial dyes. So thank you, RFK Jr., if you're listening. I probably does listen to my shows and podcasts, for doing that for us. Huge, huge, huge win for people. But it can create hyperactivity. Hyperactivity can lead to allergies. And where do you get it? Candy, cereals, cookies, cakes, donuts. It's everywhere. So you're going to see in the upcoming future foods that were always vibrant and bright and neon, not so vibrant and bright. Not going to change the flavor of them. It's just going to change the look of them. Now, the next thing is get rid of the high fructose corn syrups and the artificial sweeteners. I think that's being worked on, which is great. But the artificial dye is a big step. So the nice part is, like even companies that make these products, they have artificial dyes in the United States, and they have things like beet powder, spirulina, turmeric, in other countries to give it colors, red, green, yellow. So they have the factories all set up and ready to go. They've just been using artificial dyes because we, the Americans, like their food bright and colorful. It's not a good idea. So I'm very, very pleased with this. I'm really excited that that's happening. I want to talk about petroleum jelly. I won't use the brand name. It contains hydrocarbon contaminants. Hydrocarbons are basically fossil fuels. I won't say the brand name because you know what they are. So what do we use them for? We can use them for lubrication. We can use them for covering up issues with our skin. Some people use it in the romantic department. Let's keep it clean here. So what can we use instead? Shea butter, coconut oil, extra virgin organic coconut oil. Perfectly fine. You can use that when it comes to romance. You can use it when it comes to skin issues. Any way you'd use petroleum jelly, you can use things like coconut oil or shea butter. Much better choice, way less toxic, actually good for you in many cases. So that's a real easy swap out. You see in the ingredients a lot of your chemicals called BHT. BHT can affect the liver and your hormones. And it's everywhere. Read the ingredients. It's so many different things. It's in moisturizers and cereals. I mean, what an option to go from moisturizers to cereals. So look for BHT skincare. You want to look for skincare or any perfume, colognes, hairsprays, deodorants that are phthalate-free, PHTHLATES. We talked about that last week. You want to make sure they're BHT-free, sodium lauryl sulfate-free. So usually the natural ones. You may have to go to the natural section of the store, the section you've never been to before, and look for those. I'm begging you, please consider this. Perfumes, hairsprays, colognes, air fresheners, toxic chemicals affecting your hormones, affecting your thyroid gland, affecting your brain, affecting your sex organs. I want you to stay away from them. Hand sanitizers, clothes soap, deodorant, hand soaps. Natural ones work the best. So please think about that when you're making these decisions about your health. And once again, you're saying, well, Dr. Joe, I can buy really cheap deodorant soap. And if I buy regular soap, I use Castile soap, which is liquid soap. It's so much more expensive. It's expensive at the moment. It's cheaper in the long run. It's an investment. I look at my healthcare as an investment. And you might have stocks, you might have bonds, you might have crypto, you might have, I don't know, uranium, gold, silver. I don't know what you're investing in. But if you're sick, nothing else matters. I've had so many people over the years, I've been in practice 40 years, my family included. When they're sick, they have no other worries. They don't have worries about finances. They don't have to worry about family. They don't have to worry about kids. They don't have to worry about fixing the roof. Their only worry is, am I going to die? Now, we're going to die. But I want it to be a long, long way out from now. And so I've had people come in and say, Dr. Joe, I don't care what it costs. This happens all the time. I don't care what it costs. I want you to get me well. I said, listen, I'm going to do everything I can to get you well. I'm going to charge you the same I would for anybody else. That's just how I run my practice. And when they get better, let me tell you, they're very appreciative. I've had people, bring usually my staff now, they bring them gifts all the time. My staff gets so many gifts, it's ridiculous. Because the patients are so happy that they're getting these results that they never got anywhere else. Nobody ever sat them down and said, listen, you can take a nitric oxide supplement and that can help lower your blood pressure naturally in many cases. If we fix your digestive system, your acid reflux, we take the stress off the vagus nerve. Vagus nerve controls the blood pressure and heartbeat, and many times your AFib and your blood pressure are due to a digestive problem. That one sentence I just gave you is more valuable than so many people have spent tens of thousands of dollars and never got that information. Well, Dr. Joe, how come my other doctors never told me this? I don't know. Doctors are brilliant. Most doctors I know are just super brilliant, but they don't think the way I think. I don't think the way they think. It's okay. That's why I like to co-manage the case. I'll tell you a story. I was on the air the other night doing a radio show, and this chokes me up when I say it. Guy called in. Don't remember his name. He said, Dr. Joe, I want to tell you something. I came to see you 5 years ago. I said, okay. He said, and I have a demyelinating disease. My nerves are losing their coating. And he had all these other problems. He says, I was seeing you and I was feeling better. I was seeing improvement. I went to my neurologist and she went nuts. Don't do that. Don't get adjusted. Don't do those. It's useless. And it's going to make it worse probably. And I thought, okay, where's this going? He says, Dr. Joe, I'm in bed right now. I'm a quadriplegic. I can't move. If I have to get up, people have to put a sheet under me and 4 men have to lift me up to move me. He said, the doctor told me to stop seeing you, and I believed her. And I was saddened by that story. And I said, shame on her, because we can co-manage the case. She didn't know what I did. We can co-manage the case, and yes, see your neurologist, get your medical care if you're necessary, MRIs, CAT scans, whatever it is, but let's treat it naturally as well. And I could hear in his voice that he was devastated on a decision that he made, being influenced by his neurologist. Now, that's very rare. I'm going to tell you that right now because they work with me, orthopedists, neurologists, neurosurgeons, vascular surgeons, psychiatrists, psychologists, gastroenterologists. We have one clinic. They send us patients probably 3 or 4 a week, and they're just a primary care physician clinic. So that was just ignorant on that neurologist's part, and unfortunately, this man now, his life has been ruined. Now, could I have fixed him? I have no idea. I can't say I could have fixed him or not. I can tell you, it's a shame we didn't try. So if you have a health issue, come see us. In the Atlanta area, we have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. Just go to my website, drjoe.com. We can book you an appointment, usually within 24 hours. drjoe.com, it'll say book an appointment, set up an appointment. Who's a good patient for us? Neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, digestive issues, nutrition concerns, brain concerns. We have patients with Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. Early stages come to us pretty much on a daily basis. Car accidents. I teach doctors, lawyers, physicians all around the world how to deal with car accident cases. because there are so many scammers in the healthcare field, but certainly in the personal injury field. Attorneys, doctors run up the bills. You don't see the doc. You don't get paid. The doctors get all the money. Attorneys get all the money. I see it happen every single day. I was talking to a friend of mine who's an honest orthopedic surgeon. And we decided that about 80% of the doctors out there who are treating personal injury are scammers. That's a guess. I have no proof of that. But just based on my personal knowledge and patients coming to us all the time and saying, my case was settled, I'm still in pain, I only got a few dollars. The doctors and the lawyers got all the money. So don't fall for the scam. If you want to make an appointment to come see us, car accidents, sports injuries, regular health care, drjoe.com. Normally the first visit is $940. For you, my listeners, I've reduced that to $299. Exam, x-rays, consultation, first treatment, going over the x-rays, complete nutrition evaluation. The reason I do that is because I want to find out what's going to be the best course of treatment for you. Is it chiropractic? Is it nutrition? Is it physical therapy, orthopedist, neurologist, neurosurgeon? Maybe you need a dentist. I've had people with headaches that had an infected tooth. It's not a chiropractic case, it's a dental case. Pull the tooth out or get the tooth under control, and the headaches go away. How many of you have been treated and never got the results you wanted? I can't promise you results. I can promise you we'll do everything we can to get you the results. So make an appointment, drjoe.com. And we accept almost all insurances, car accidents, sports injuries. We're in a VA referral list, Medicare. I can't make it any easier for you, drjoe.com. So come off my soapbox for a second here. We're talking today about toxic chemicals that you're getting exposed to every single day. Another one is BHA, and you'll see this in a lot of food. You'll see it in cosmetics, packaged foods. It's a carcinogen. It disrupts your hormones. Look for things that don't have BHA in them. Here's the rule. I don't know how old you are, but I'll tell you, I'm old. And when I was young, we buy bread every single day. We go to the baker right up the street on Willow Avenue, and we go to the bakery every day and get bread. And the next day, if we didn't finish all the bread, my mother had this big box. It was a pretzel box. It was a Snyder's pretzel box, and she'd put the bread in there and let it go stale. Once the bread went stale, because it started to go stale the next day, she would make stuffing with it, or she would make breadcrumbs with it, because we were very poor. My father was disabled. We were very poor. We had to buy bread every day. You ever been to Europe? They buy bread every day. Why is that? The bread goes stale so quickly. When was the last time you bought a loaf of bread? It'll sit on a counter for weeks. That means it has preservatives in it, like BHA, BHT. So you want to try to stay away from anything that has chemicals in it that you can't pronounce or don't understand. Food should go bad. That's the rule. Food should go bad. Chlorine is another one. It can irritate your lungs. It can irritate your skin. It's also a natural antibiotic. If you have a hot tub, what do you put in your hot tub? Chlorine. I mean, you might use things like ozone or something like that, but most people put chlorine. Why chlorine? Because chlorine kills bacteria. What's your body made of? Bacteria. You are multiple times more bacteria than you are human. We're just a life support for bacteria. That's all we are. And if you're exposing yourself to chlorine every day, it can be killing off the good bacteria, weakening your immune system, affecting your hormones. It's in tap water. It's in swimming pools. I have a whole house water filter. I said that earlier. And they're not cheap. They're a couple of $1,000s. I love it. Because if I go out and have water at a restaurant or something like that, it just tastes like pool water. You ever notice that? A good restaurant's going to have a water filter to filter out the chlorine. If you can't afford a whole house water filter, at least get a shower filter and a sink filter. And filter out the water. Because if I take a shower, a hot shower, I'm absorbing about the equivalent of 8 glasses of water's worth of chlorine just through my skin. And that's killing off the good bacteria as well as the bad bacteria in my colon. I don't like that. So at least get a countertop filter. Anything is better than tap water. I love the whole house filter because every drop of water in my house, the toilets are not releasing chlorine into the air. Is it a big deal? No, it's not a big deal. But it's these little steps that you take to get well and stay well. I take supplements every day. You should too, by the way. It's a small step, inexpensive step, but that's part of the protocol I have to get well. If I have neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, I want to get my spine and my joints adjusted, lined up properly to take the stress off the joints. Because if a joint's out of place, A, it's going to pinch a nerve. 90% of your nerves don't feel pain. So you can have a pinched nerve and not know it. If you have pain, you know you have a pinched nerve. You can have pinched nerves and not have pain. That's why our doctors check everything. If you have acid reflux, many times the stomach is pushed up against the diaphragm. We need to pull it back down. If a joint is out of alignment, it's going to wear out. You will get arthritis. The only guarantee I can give you and my patients is that if you have bones out of place, they will wear out. Guaranteed. 100%. So if I have a bone out of place, I know it's out of place. I know it's going to wear out. Why wouldn't I put the bone back in place? If I'm driving my car and all of a sudden the car starts to wobble, if the tires are out of alignment, what's the first thing you do? Get the tires aligned. I've had people pull over, call a tow truck, bring it to the mechanic, and get the car aligned because they know that if it keeps wobbling, it can shake the motor mounts loose, it can wear out the tires, it can affect the brakes, affect the alignment. The reason it's out of alignment is because the alignment is going to get worse. They get the car fixed. Why wouldn't you get your body fixed? It makes no sense to me. I have spent 40 years as the most frustrated human being on earth because I know that diet affects health. I know that supplements improve health. I know that chiropractic care takes the stress off the joints. I know if the stomach is up against the diaphragm, you pull it back down. I had that the other day. I had some Ethiopian food and I ate too much of it. My stomach, I was burping and I could taste it in my throat. I came into the office. I grabbed Dr. Amy Hall, my clinic director. I said, pull my stomach down. She tested me. Sure enough, she pulled my stomach down. Problem was solved. It took 15 seconds. Now, if you're a patient, you have to make an appointment. You have to go through the whole process. But 15 seconds, the whole treatment. No drugs, no surgery, painless. So, again, I digress. It drives me nuts when people are suffering and they're suffering needlessly. I'll tell you a story. I was at dinner the other night with my friend Peter and Richard and what are the guys' names? Tim was there. Anyway, names aren't important. So we're sitting there, and this one guy, Richard, was saying, he says, my pain, my neuropathy in my hands are so bad I can't button my own shirt. He had to ask his friend to button his shirt. So, of course, as guys, we all, because we're all nothing but teenagers there. We're just in older bodies. And he said, I found a device that can actually pull the button through the buttonhole for me so it can help me button my shirts because the pain in my hands is so bad. He's got diabetes. He just lost 85 pounds. He still could lose a few more. And then I watched what he was eating. Beef, shrimp, Chinese restaurant, eggs with shrimp, beer. And I thought, wow, you can't even button your own shirt. And then he said something, jokingly, half jokingly, boy, I pray for the peaceful resolve of death, or something along those lines, so I can finally get out of this pain. This guy's in his 60s. He's talking about the sweet release of death, so he's not in pain anymore. And then I'm watching what he's eating. And then at the end, he says, can I come see you as a patient? I said, sure, of course you can. We accept new patients. He goes, yeah, maybe I should see you. I've tried everything else and nothing else is working. Well, what you're doing isn't working. Try something new, obviously. So it just broke my heart that here's a guy, funny guy, smart guy, great guy, brought little presents for us to dinner and everything like that. And he's suffering so badly that he's joking about the sweet release of death. When there are so many things that we can do. Chiropractic care, acoustic wave therapy. Acoustic wave therapy is a machine, sends really fast impulses into the joint, breaks up scar tissue, increases circulation, and recruits stem cells into the area. Works like a charm on a lot of cases. Not all, but a lot. Plantar fasciitis, joints out of place. I've had people saying they needed shoulder surgery, knee surgery, spine surgery, and we got them on an anti-inflammatory diet. We realigned the joints. We put them on the acoustic wave therapy machine, and they don't need surgery. It's a miracle. It's not a miracle. We just put the bones back in place. We have cold laser. We use cold laser on so many different patients. We have several lasers, and we can't keep them. Like, oh, you have to hold on. Somebody's using it right now. Our rooms are full, and we're using the lasers and the acoustic wave and the chiropractic care on them. Patients are blown away. So if you want to make an appointment, just come see us. Stop suffering needlessly. It aggravates me. All right, I'm not going to get anywhere close to getting to where I need to be. I have 15 more things I got to cover, and I only have a few minutes. If you want a copy of today's show notes, please send me an email through the website, drjoe.com. Just put toxic chemicals in the email. I'll send you the show notes. My gift to you, absolutely free. Follow us on social media. We post twice a day, 7 days a week on health tips, absolutely free. It's Dr. Joe Esposito. Facebook is the Dr. Joe Esposito. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn, my gift to you. If you like podcasts, the podcast is Dr. Joe for the Health of It. My gift to you, free. Dr. Joe for the health of it. If you're a visual person, our YouTube page, Dr. Joe Esposito, we have all our lectures listed there, free. Come see us, though. Let's get to the cause of your problem, not just treat the symptoms. At least Super Greens Essential Source B Complex and Vitamin D, $5 a day. At least do that. But if you're serious about health, there's different levels. The stuff I'm giving you here is white belt. I want you to go to black belt nutrition, black belt health. That's where I want you to be, black belt health. I want to talk about mold. Oh, gosh, I'm running out of time. If your house smells musty, you know that smell. You have mold. That's it. I just diagnosed it. You have to get that remediated and not just spray it with bleach. Have a company come in. If you don't know one, send me an email. I'll send you a company I recommend. Let them come in, do some testing. I had somebody I know, somebody very dear to me. I paid for the evaluation at her house. And mold everywhere. And she has an autoimmune disease. He said, we looked at particulate matter in the air. Highest level that's acceptable, 2,000. Okay, got that? Highest level acceptable, 2,000 particulate matter in the air. That's particles in the air. Hers was 80,000 in her house. And she has a cat. And she has an iguana. And she lives with a guy. That's like killing level. That's deadly levels. So mold is not something you want to jerk around with. If you have mold or must in the house, do it. I have a very, very dear friend of mine. She actually ended up getting divorced because of it. They moved into a house in Georgia, and the mold was so bad she couldn't get out of bed. And her husband said, oh, you're faking it, get out of bed. But eventually they got divorced, and she almost died. And eventually she became a naturopath. She got into the field because she had to heal herself. So mold is not something you want to jerk around with. Now you have a little mold in your shower, probably not that big a deal. But if you see mold if you see it around the wood, if you see it, if you smell it in the air, please don't take that lightly. It can be deadly. So again, we're talking today about toxic chemicals you're exposed to every single day. Try to pick out some big ones here. Detergent residues. Use a natural scent-free detergent. It's that simple. They have the cheaper ones that smell like spring and forest and rain. Those are chemicals in the air. They're endocrine disrupting chemicals. They can cause very serious health issues. So don't use those. Natural scent-free clothes soap, dish soap, body soap, toothpaste, hairspray, shampoo, conditioner. Please make sure they don't have SLE, sodium lauryl sulfate. Spend a little more money. It's absolutely worth it. I don't dry clean my clothes. If I have a suit, I can't remember the last time I dry cleaned anything. But what I do is if I have dry cleaning, anything that needs to be dry cleaned, I hang it in my garage for about a week to get those chemicals out. We have something called PERC, P-E-R-C. I can't remember what it stands for. Highly toxic chemicals. People that work in the dry cleaning industry have a much higher rate of cancer. I wash my shirts in natural soap, and I iron them myself. I iron every one of my shirts. And same thing with my pants. I have the kind that are washable, and I iron them. And maybe every couple of weeks, I have to sit out and iron a couple of shirts and iron a couple of pants. I put the TV on, leave the window open if I can, and I'll do it. It's not something I enjoy doing, but it's something I have to do because dry cleaning chemicals are so toxic, but at least air them out. All right, John's giving me a signal here that I'm running out of time. If you have any health questions, send them to me through my website, drjoe.com. Make an appointment to come see us. Let's check your nervous system. Let's check your digestive system. Let's look at your diet. Let's get to the cause of your healthcare problems. Let's see if you have acid reflux, or maybe you need some apple cider vinegar to increase your stomach acid. I take digestive enzymes at my age so I can digest my food better. I take men's hormone support because it helps build my testosterone levels up. Let's get to the cause of your problem, drjoe.com. The supplements are in the store section of the website, drjoe.com. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Dr. Joe Esposito, Facebook, the Dr. Joe Esposito. Follow me. I give you this information. That's my gift I want back. Folks, I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next time. All right. Have some thick tea here. Questions?
From a health standpoint, can you rank black beans, pinto beans, and refried beans, or should I enjoy all of them?
Enjoy all of them. Just make sure the refried beans don't have any lard in them. Other than that, they're all great. Try to do organic if you can, but they're all great. So, what else?
Should I use corn or flour tortillas, soft or hard?
Wow. Not the hard ones because they're fried and they create acrylamides, which are carcinogenic. That's a tough call. Corn is genetically modified. Wheat is sprayed with glyphosate. Corn is sprayed with glyphosate. If I had to pick one, I guess corn, because at least it doesn't have gluten in it. Yeah, I guess corn. If you're making me pick one, I'm giving. I wouldn't pick any of them unless they're organic, but I'm going to tell you to take the corn. So, what else? Soft.
How much cinnamon should I eat?
About a teaspoon a day. We have some new supplements out. One of them is called Glucose Guard. Boy, let me tell you, it's amazing for stabilizing blood sugar. Glucose Guard has cinnamon, has berberine, has a bunch of other supplements in it that really help stabilize blood sugar. So, yeah, about a teaspoon a day is fine, but I'd take the Glucose Guard if you can. It's probably even cheaper and a lot better. So, if you want to stabilize blood sugar, yeah. What else?
If I have a house built, what kind of conversation should I have with the builder about the best materials, insulation, and furnishings?
Wow, that's a great question. I've never been asked that question before. You want to use pre-finished everything, okay, if you can. The insulation, the spray-on insulation, it turns out it releases a lot more chemicals than the roll-out stuff. So I'd say the roll-out stuff if you can, and then lock it in. Don't just leave it exposed. Put some plywood over it to lock it in, so to speak. Finish the room, basically. No carpet. Paints used to have volatile organic compounds. A lot of them don't anymore, so I'm not sure that's even such a big issue anymore. But paint should be low in VOC, volatile organic compounds. Pre-finished hardwood, so you don't give out gas. Tile and hardwood is really what you want to do. No carpeting whatsoever. The less carpeting, drapes, these are things that just collect mold and dust. The less, the better. I would put a whole house water filter in. Absolutely, if you can afford that, that's absolutely a biggie. Let's see what else. Granite releases radon, so I would probably go with like a man-made quartz would probably be better for the countertops. So a quartz countertop, it's not going to release the radon like that does. We talked about whole house water filters already. That's a good start. That's a good question, though. Boy, I can probably think some more about that, too. But that's a great question. Thank you. What else?
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you guys, too, man. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for making another great year for me, for John, my whole staff. We really thank you all. Thank you for supporting us and letting us support you. And if you have any questions, now we're in a new year, you know where to go, right? drjoe.com. Merry Christmas, guys.